Whoa! Hey there, internet friends. This is Magic Brad, the man, the myth, the legend here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the World Nerve Center headquarters of wherever I am. And I've got multiple people on today for our little broadcast, and we're doing this in our Magic for Seniors group that my friend Steve Hart put together. So I'm going to go find Steve right now in the green room, and then we've got a special guest that we want to introduce you to. So where is that guy? Steve-O!
Hey!
Well, you
Down here in Florida, Palm Bay, Florida, yes.
Is that how they dress down there in all those colors?
Yeah, I got my Florida shirt on.
My God, you look like a magic show.
So let's bring Nick on. We got to hear what this guy's got to say.
Absolutely. We also got some comments here. I just saw some comments come in. We've got Gary Sager from California. Thank you, Gary, for tuning in.
Gary.
We really appreciate it. And we've also got Al.
Al.
Good morning, Al. And Mr. John Russell.
Oh, John.
Thank you, sirs. So let's go get Nick. He's in the green room. We've got some of those digital hors d'oeuvres in there. So let me go see if I can interrupt. Nick, are you around? There he is. Good morning.
Hi. Here. Hey. Good morning.
3 people in this crowded room, so maybe we'll have some bandwidth issues, but we're going to do what we can do, okay?
Right.
Welcome.
Tell them where you live, Nick.
I am from Knoxville, Tennessee, but I'm up in Northeast Tennessee right now in Kingsport, Tri-Cities, so I'm near the Virginia line.
You're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You have to drive 20 minutes to go to the grocery store.
No, not that bad.
I thought you were going to say you have to drive 20 minutes to go to the bathroom.
Well, let's put it this way. Your average show, you drive how far to your average show? An hour?
No. Well, maybe an hour, 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
I have driven more, so I think the furthest I've gone for a senior show has been Pennsylvania. So
that is a drive.
But what I like to do, and I'll touch on that while we're talking about it, I like to book a few shows in an area when I go on the road, and that way everybody gets a better price. They can all share my travel expense. I love Civil War history. Huh?
How do you do that? How do you get the additional shows on the same day?
When somebody asks for my price and they kind of balk at it or whatever, I just say, now listen, if we could get 2 or 3 other communities to partner with us and have shows either the same day or the next day or day before, everybody gets a better price. So they can get a multiple booking discount that way, kind of if I'm killing a few birds with one stone, so to speak. I love Civil War history. A lot of times what I'll do is go to an area that I want to tour and do the tourist thing anyway, and I book a few shows while I'm in the area, so it's kind of business and pleasure. So I can afford to share some of the travel expense with them that way.
So also what you're doing is you're utilizing these other people to kind of do some bird dogging for you and actually do the work and talk to the other communities and say, hey, we got a guy coming in and we could share expenses a little bit, have them do the work. That's smart.
Exactly. A lot of times they know the other activity directors by name, so they'll give me a lead that way. And a lot of times I just knock on the doors myself, call them myself.
So how long have you been performing magic?
How long have I been performing? I started when I was 10 years old with a magic kit from Disney World, a hat full of magic. And when I was 14, I took some lessons in magic.
How old are you now? So that doesn't tell us how long. How old are you now? Because that way we'll know how long you've been doing magic. You started when you were 10.
Are you
okay? I'm getting.
He's having trouble hearing us.
Yeah, that happens. A little bandwidth
getting some break up there.
How old are you?
I am 57. Just turned 57 in September.
Okay.
So I'm right behind you, Steve.
I'm a little bit ahead of you. Tell everybody what you do in your senior shows. Tell us what you do in your senior shows.
Okay, so what I like to do is things that are very colorful, things that are visual, of course. things that aren't long and drawn out, no complicated stories, short and sweet in the effects and plot and patter. Um, what I like to do before the show, the actual show, is something I do when I do strolling magic. If I'm doing a festival or a fair, what I like to do is a little 3-set visual set, I call it. I start with the old double color changing Hank, and I'll say, what do you think about my red and green handkerchief here? My beautiful red. Oh, wait, this is not red and green. If I had a red and green one, I could show you a trig, but I can't show you because this one's not red and green. This one is blue and yellow, so I can't show you that one. And they go, what? You just did it. No, I can't do that. And then I'll usually go into the old stiff rope trick. I'll say, we're going to make this piece of rope float in midair. Watch, it's going to float in midair. And we go through that. I may be a little out of frame. And then I'll let the kids, count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and then it goes limp again. So I'll do that as a second trick. And then everybody needs to learn the old paper bag trick where you can pretend to have them throw something in the bag and then you catch it with an audible and a visual pop. So, yeah, so that's really good. And you can have kids or seniors going a long time with that. And just a matter of 2 fingers inside the bag, and I'm just kind of snapping my middle finger against my thumb, which is outside the bag, and you get that nice visual. You can have kids going forever with that. So I've been doing that little 3 visual trick set before the show, and that'll take 15 minutes or so as people are coming in and arriving into the room where we're going to have the show. And then I'll go into, say, a 40-minute show for them and fill up the hour. They usually want you to fill up an hour. So that's one way to do that, is to interact with them before your actual show.
Give us examples of some of your colorful magic. Like, what tricks are you doing?
Oh, man. Seniors love silk handkerchief tricks. So I do like a blendo effects, or just a double color changing or a color changing handkerchief effect like you do with a dye tube. But I've learned to use the Palmo ball instead of a dye tube. You don't have the ribbon inside of a Palmo like you would with the dye tube. So it doesn't matter whether it's upside down or right side up. You don't have that ribbon to fool with. And so it helps expedite that. And Carol Fox has a great routine for the color changing Hank using a Palmo. That's what I've been using recently. I love it. It slays people. So that's one thing I do. Things like the color changing, CDs. I have a song I do a lot of color changing things too. I'll throw the coloring book in there, color changing CDs. I like the dragon fanning deck. It's a fanning deck that changes 3 or 4 times, ends with a picture of a dragon on the fan. Also, the instant art, where it's a black and white picture, and when you pull it out of the frame, it becomes colored. That's a nice one. Anything visual like that, where it's a definite recognizable change from black and white to color or blank to printed. That's all. They catch all that. So you want to stay away from, of course, small things, cards and coins. They can't see that. So you got to be seen.
Music. What do you do for your music?
Music. I always start my show with music playing, and I just do magic to music as it's playing. So that takes about 4 minutes for a song.
How do you play it?
So I start that way,
music?
And I usually end with song with music too.
How do you play the music? What device do you use for your music?
Oh, we're breaking up again.
Yeah, I'm asking you about how do you play the music? How do you play the music? Yeah, I can't even hear you, Brad.
I'm sorry, my mic was muted. Yeah. Nick, what device do you use to play the music with? An iPod?
Okay. More bandwidth issue, I guess. All right, we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, it's a challenge when you use your phone. You need to. Oh, we lost him completely.
Well, the reason I asked is because I try not to use music in my senior shows unless they're paying me the extra money. I don't want to have to bring in my sound system, and then I use a USB memory card, which it takes and it plays the music through that. I mean, I love the music. I love the idea of having the music, but I was just curious. My suspicion is he probably uses his phone and some kind of a speaker.
He's back. Let me bring him back on here. We'll find out.
Please do. Yeah.
Do we have reception?
Are we back?
You are back.
How do you play your music, Brad? Or Nick? I'm sorry, Nick. Ask him.
Nick, do you know what do you use? What device do you use to play your music when you do your music shows?
Well, like I said, I'm just working with a phone, so I actually go to YouTube and find music that I want, and I Bluetooth it to a Bluetooth speaker. I bought a big Bluetooth speaker at Walmart. It cost about $130, and it's 80 watts. So I've even used it outside. I think the rule of thumb is 1 watt per person. So you can handle a group of about 100 with that speaker. It's ONN, the On brand, large party Bluetooth speaker. And it does a great job. And the only thing with YouTube is sometimes you have to deal with commercials before the song. So I'll have to, turn the volume down while the commercial plays and then do the song. But it works great for me. And the seniors don't mind at all. So. And I have a wireless headset mic.
Okay. And it plays to the Bluetooth
wireless
speaker?
Yep, it hooks right in. You have to have power for it. The Bluetooth speaker has a battery, so it can go without a plug, but the mic base unit has to be plugged into the wall. And then, of course, your battery pack is on your belt for the headset mic. But it works great because you can move around, and you're not tied to a mic on a stand. Some guys can talk loud enough that they don't need a mic, but I like to be heard. You have to be seen and heard.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What songs do you pick off of YouTube? What songs? What music?
Oh yeah, you can find anything on there.
Well,
any
what do you
kind of
use?
music.
I want to know what you think. What do you pick?
I like the big band kind of stuff, big band music. I think they like that. A lot of seniors right now were like in the 50s era, so they like 50s music, the big band stuff. You don't want to go back too far to what their parents or grandparents would have liked, but you want to stay probably 40s or 50s on current to now. Another thing they really like is puppets. You brought your puppet out while we were talking before the show. They love puppets. If you use an animal like a rabbit, they just love that. I do inspirational or what we call gospel magic, so I'll throw that in sometimes with permission. Always to do that kind of thing. You don't want to offend anybody. But that helps me round out an hour. If they allow that kind of thing, then I can add another, 15 minutes or so and round out that hour with some of that.
Great.
Steve and I talked about briefly yesterday a one case show. I'm becoming a fan of that. Steve uses a catalog case, and I've been doing that for a while myself. You'd be amazed at what all you can get in a catalog case. Just about all you can get in a show table, So I've been using that. One trip in, one trip out, and that's the way to do it, guys. Get you a cart like Harbor Freight or somewhere, bungee cord everything onto that cart and make it one trip in, one trip out. The budgets you're working with a lot of times with these places really don't allow you to bring in, huge PA systems, backdrops, lighting, a lot of the other things a lot of the guys take in to justify their price, but they don't have a big budget a lot of times. So just keep it simple, keep it small, pack small, play big.
Right. Yeah. Al's asking about royalties with your music. Can you see it on the screen there? Al's asking about royalties. It's not a problem if you're playing YouTube. Then they're not. It's not an issue.
Right. That's just kind of free to play. A lot of guys ask too, how do you get around the royalties, free music and all that? I've sung karaoke music for a long time. Before they even called it karaoke, I would buy the accompaniment tapes on cassette tape and do my programs and sing songs with them. So I understand once you buy a track like that, right performance, that you don't want to record that, performance you're okay on. So I think the YouTube music is pretty much the same.
Right.
And
Well,
I don't really have any issues with it.
So do you have anything you want to share in closing?
Well, as far as the pricing, don't just lower your price when they balk at your price, and they will. And keep in mind, different facilities have different budgets to work with. Some facilities, they're allowed so much per head, so they've got that for their entertainment budget. A lot of them don't have a per head budget, so it's just whatever they have. But a lot of times what you'll charge for a show might be the whole month's budget that they have for entertainment. So you got to keep that in mind too. But don't just lower your price when they balk at your price. Take something away, to justify that. Either shorten the show. You can give them a first time booking discount, or like we mentioned, a multiple booking discount. Have a reason that you're coming down, don't just drop your price. But like student or somebody mentioned earlier, if you're doing several of these a week, you can really rake in some money. You don't have to be making $300 a show, to do these kind of things, especially if you're doing the one trip in, one trip out, one case show,
Right.
So keep all that in mind as you deal with these people. It's usually an activities director that you're dealing with. I don't know if you can see this or not, but a lot of guys right now are kind of sad coming through the pandemic recently. They didn't have a lot of shows and so forth. And I know a guy like that myself. It really slowed down the last couple of years, but things are picking back up now. And I understand the assisted living places have lifted all those bans now, and the mask mandates and that kind of thing. And my friend is now a happy clown. Look at him. Yeah.
Yay!
So things are looking. And that's thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah,
I was glad to be here, and hopefully next time we can get these bandwidth problems solved. I get bad reception here in my apartment, so that might be part of it.
All right. We'll be looking forward to hearing more from Nick and everybody else. In fact, we're inviting other people to join us on the podcast. So let us know if you want to jump on and share something. You killed your sound.
I clicked the button, but I didn't.
He's trying to talk to us, and he was getting here.
Oh, I was doing my mime act. I'm getting good at it.
So
I was saying that it's important that you have good Wi-Fi and bandwidth hooked up. You either have a direct cable connection or strong Wi-Fi. Working off your phone,
Yeah.
Anyways, boy, I appreciate him coming on. It's very interesting. I've been doing this stuff for a long, long time, just as you have. And the idea that he had of getting the other people to bird dog for him and do the work. I've done that too, get on the phone and try and book other things around it. But they already have a relationship with the other communities. They probably have their own little group and things. That's a good idea.
Right.
Good idea. Well, Steve-O, should we shut this one down and get ready for that one?
Yep, it's been fun.
It's been a joy.
And next week, I think we'll have another guest come on. So, but we have to work around people's schedule. So please let us know if you want to be on the podcast, and we'll work you in.
True.
All right.
There we go, Kokomo. We had someone else commenting. Oh, it's a thank you. We like that. Thank you. You're welcome, Mr. Al. So, Al, if you want to come on, we can make that happen too. But we're going to sign this one off. So I'm going to end this broadcast. Peace, love, and happiness. Not necessarily in that order. Be nice, be kind, be friendly. See you later. Bye. I got to go.